Peace and blessings, family. This is your boy Gerald. It is Wednesday, the 8th of November, 2019. How is everybody doing? You're halfway through your work week, family. You're halfway through your week period, depending on if you're a millennial or you're younger and you happen to stumble across this video. And I hope this video reaches you in time. But I'm feeling a certain kind of way this morning. I'm not going to be winded. I'm going to try not to. But I feel that this video is for the intended heart and intended mind. And that key word is mind. The most precious part of your being, your mind. Because they're not only one, it is made for you. But you know what crossed my mind? Because let me put this in perspective for somebody. While there's so many flashing lights and distractions out there to get your attention, there are things that are not directly put out there for your attention, but will resonate. You have influence on one side where the mindset has been, hey, you live only once. Enjoy the moment, not take perspective of what is being shown so that you can have and make the sound decision needed. And then on the other, there is a position where wisdom is not welcome because it goes against where you've been thus far or what has led you to this moment right now. But you know what caught my eye? And when I mean my eye, I'm talking about within my consciousness. There is a blatant attack that is being done on a spiritual position to devalue everything that represents you. You may have saw the title, and I put that title out specifically because you're going to have to make a decision what is important. Now, I know you've heard people tell you, you can look on social media and there are different demographics of what will gladly take your time. But I ask you this, does it make, does it influence, does it challenge your greatness? Does it spawn inside you for you to step out of your comfort zone? Does it make you ponder what the endless possibilities of your life could be? How about the requirement to make it a reality? See, if you look around, just right outside your door, there are thousands and thousands of distractions to devalue what makes you. First, it is a ploy or a plot to get you to not see your uniqueness. Then there's the visual effect of what is gauged on what beauty is and the price to obtain or find fellowship in that position. And then one day I was, you know me, I'm riding in my Jeep, going to work. Just like most of you, you do a lot of your pondering, you do a lot of your thought when you're focused and heading to and fro wherever you're at. and you look out the window, and what do you see? You see the reality of the threat to the left of you, to the right of you, because there's somebody doing this. How cavalier have we become, family? How comfortable have we become in a society that we are willing to put our lives at stake every time you turn a key? I'll do one better. We're at a point now that we're not even taking proper measurement in where we frequent. Because there's countless people that are not aware of their surroundings and not afforded the opportunity to end their day the way they started, safe. Now you may be wondering why I'm conveying this. You realize, family, that one of the cash crops that are for investors now is, bear with me, is investing in organ harvesting now. No, I'm not on no conspiracy theory. I'm putting something in clear perspective that a lot of you do not know. Right now, there's an abundance of revenue being made off of people that have invested line of work. Why? Because there's an abundance of people willfully losing their lives over things that have no value. So if you don't mind, it don't matter. And people are making fist over fist of money over things that you take for granted. No different than you have another demographic that are investing in the correctional or the penal facility, your prisons. They've got prisons being thrown up left and right, but yet they still are not investing in our kids. You're quickly to build a prison, but won't put a book needed in Johnny's hands. And we're wondering why our society is dumbing down every day. Mind you, now there is a responsibility on everybody's shoulders because, you know, the greatest consumption embraced by our society, it's not what we eat, it's what we take in here. So we must have an influence, a constant feeding cycle of that beautiful mind. You do understand that what you take in indirectly becomes your behavior pattern. So if you're constantly embracing negative examples, indirectly your behavior pattern will embrace that too. No different if you change the dynamic and it was positive examples. We are what we attract. So if our viewpoint does not inspire the best of who we are, there's no need for you to cry. There's no need for you to complain. There's no need for you to point the finger. Because the truth of the matter is nobody can make you do what you have not already signed up for. Did you hear me? Now, millennials, you know I love you. Queens, I'm going to keep speaking my truth. So you can't turn around and say, I didn't know this, Gerald. I was oblivious to it because I've been trying to reach the intended heart, intended mind, and the intended time. And I'm trying real hard, family, to be respectful right now because my instinct wants to reach the intended person at the intended level. And it's kind of hard not using the local colloquialism. Because I know some people don't understand, or you can't reach that person unless you got a couple curse words in there. Then they're like, oh, it's salacious now. No, what's at risk is you. Because see, at the end of the day, family, like it or not, it is your life. If you don't like what your life is showing you, you have to make a decision to remain there or go within yourself. You can't turn around and use the example like we always say, we always used to hear, all men are dogs. Well, Queen, you wouldn't get the fleas if you didn't go to where they lay down. So what I'm trying to get you to understand is we are in the season. Fall is here. It is getting grimy. So whatever was hidden is being brought to the light. Why? Because it's requiring you to make a choice. Do you stand or do you step away? Do you take a position of throwing up the victim card? Or do you turn around and say, I'm not for sale? Because the tactic that has been going on is the same tactic that's always been. The same process is no different than when you were a baby and you were crying in that crib and your parents sat you down and put something in front of you. You got focused on the object and you forgot to cry. It's the same as you grow up. It is no surprise when you go to a store, they're using colors. They're using certain types of strategy to reach the certain type of consumer, because that's the point. We are in a season of gluttony. We are consuming what you don't need. And guess what? They're laughing all the way to the bank. Now, I know somebody's going to say, well, Gerald, that's what opportunists do. But guess what? An opportunist wouldn't even have a chance to hear you breathe if you only would just look at what beauty is looking back. Come on now. Every time you turn around and put energy in something that won't give energy back, that's a benefit for them. And what I mean them is not based off the melanin, family. If you think it's based off the melanin, they got you. Because in a town near you, in a city near you, in a state near you, there's a person that looks just like you that don't give a damn about you, but just want to hijack you. Want to hold your emotions ransom. And they're going to keep on doing it until you decide to go within yourself. Until you decide to be uncomfortable. Until you decide to love yourself. See, you can't invest in who you are until you make a declaration to find out why you think the way you think, why you do the things you do, why you are attracted to what makes your environment. Now, let me turn the page real quick because this right here is for the millennials. If you are under the age of 25, please heed the words of a brother. You know, society wants you to be the new science project, right? You know that, right? You didn't know that? They want you to dumb down so bad. That is why there's a constant influence being pushed at you from all angles on TV, in the media, in the people you know. They're not going to turn around and say, you know what, that's not good for you, because they can't make no money off a strong person. They can't benefit or sway a person that loves themselves. And they definitely can't get access to the direction of a person that places God first in all they do. So maybe that's the reason why that those three beautiful words, I love you, sounds funny to you. If you can't say it to yourself, what makes you think you're going to receive that back? Huh? You are a spiritual being first and foremost. Yeah, I know there's going to be a lot of people going to be pissed off on this one because let's call a spade a spade. You got these on one side, yes. You got people that say, hey, you know what? This is the season because you are this astrological sign, this numerological number. All that is nothing but aspects of what defines you. It doesn't matter if you are Pisces. It doesn't matter if your numbers are 888. It matters not if you don't know who you are. It matters not. Meanwhile, you're destroying your brain. See, when I was coming up in the 80s, we used to have this little commercial. It was like 10 seconds. And it was the typical, you heard this older man in the kitchen. And you saw the stove and a frying pan and an egg. And he said, this is your brain. He cracked the egg. This is your brain on drugs. And then it would go off. And people would mock that commercial, but it's the truth. Because the egg being fried represented the most beautiful thing about you. The key to unlock endless possibilities for your life, your brain. We only use 6% of it. So while you're putting chemicals that you don't know where it came from, while you are playing with your DNA, while you are trying to play science project by saying, well, you know what? I don't want to invest in my temple. I'll just go on over to the doctor and let him nip and tuck. Let me tell you something. You were made perfect the moment you took your first breath. Let me rewind that, because I know some of y'all may have a hangover right now. And maybe that hangover sounds a little too loud because I'm speaking truth. You were made, you were created perfect. That's where there's only one. But if you don't see the value in your life, how can you explain or find validation in where you've gone? If you don't mind, it don't matter. See, right now, you got a lot of hypocrites out there. I was like, oh, he's throwing stones. No, I'm not. Because the worst hypocrite you're going to ever come to know is you. The person that only needs validation is that person looking in the mirror. Who am I talking to? Not that little girl that is clueless. Her body is changing like a flower and she don't know how to carry it. But on the same breath, puts herself at risk and has the nerve to not take ownership for the choices made. We are what we attract, family. We are what we attract. So imagine what you would attract if you decided to go within yourself. Oh yes, all those broken edges will fall off quick because they're going to spend so much time to convince you to go back to your old self. Because see, the old self was vulnerable. The old self was already figured out, and that's why they were doing what they were doing to you. But they could not do what they were doing to you if you knew who you were. This is not a moment to bash, to make you feel pissed off. I'm trying to get you to understand that, listen, you ain't promised to see Mars. We got a lot of people on this planet that have a cavalier mindset of, well, I'll just do it tomorrow. You're not guaranteed to see tonight. Who told you that? Who told you that? The same people that have that same like-minded position. Why? Because they don't want you to grow. They never did. And as long as you stay stuck, the longer you'll be distracted, and the longer you won't have clarity to see what they lack. This is not a position to take judgment. This is a position or a call to have awareness on what matters most. You. So if you don't mind, it don't matter. Everything you've gone through, if you don't mind, it don't matter. Everything that you have lost, if you don't mind, it don't matter. Some people are addicted to pain. They get off on it. They have loyalty in it. They build relationships within it, within negativity. So when you come from a different perspective, they try everything they can to break, to dispel it. Why? Because the truth of the matter is everything that you're telling them is something that they already do. They already know, and they don't want you to bring it to the light. They don't want you to do that. You know why? Because that table called misery has a waiting seat for you. And that fraternity that sorority called Pain Phi Pain is always looking for membership to destroy another life, to destroy another family, to destroy another community. All under the banner of denial. The denial family. I ain't got to tell you that. You already know that. Y'all already know there are people in their 60s, bitter, angry. And they see you coming. They're not going to support you because you are the illustration and the example of what they could have been. Who am I talking to? So you're going to keep robbing yourself. You're going to keep robbing yourself? Don't complain. Don't complain. And oh yeah, you got those people, and you can take it for whatever it is. I'm just gonna let you know that right now because I love me some Gerald. I stay prayed up. And then I got a whole lot of life to live. And I see the importance of this. Your greatest revenue is forged right here. Without clarity, how do you understand what is being shown compared to where you're headed? Especially if you're living in your past. You are living in your past. For what? So that the people that you knew can reach up and catch up to you. God separates you from that person in the intended time and moment. He showed you countless examples of what you don't need. But we have free will, don't we? Don't we? We are our worst enemies, family. Meanwhile, you turn on the BootTube and they're already gearing you up for Black Friday. Well, guess what? People have been living Black Friday for a long time. And I'm talking about your emotions. Because guess what? There's going to be countless people that are going to look at this video. It's going to go in one ear, out the other. And life is going to slap them silly. And it's going to shake you. Because this is God's validation to somebody. You know this. Right now, you know whatever that is, you're being asked to make a choice. That last disappointment you went through, that was a reminder of what remains. But if you caught up on the outer shell and not what's found within, it don't matter because you don't mind. Hold that thought, family. You know I'm drinking my coffee. Give me a second. you for your patience. I know, buddy. There's Tyson in the background. Feels my energy. So you can make a choice. Continue going with the flow of your life. I know it's disappointing, isn't it? You keep going down that road you're going to, and you're going to keep getting the same. Or you can actually tap into that courage, that strength that is you, the real you. That is a choice that you've got to decide. You got to make that choice. That'll be the greatest investment you'll ever make in your life. And that is to come on back home to that person in the mirror. Because I hate to tell you this. You don't understand the definition or that sacred word called friend. You don't understand it. And you're basing it off of what you've been exposed to. And in turn, the longer you do not invest in you, the more illustrations of what it is not. Did you hear me? So while you are stressing, wondering if Jody's going to call you today, or wondering if Shayla is going to be on your timeline, just know that is only a distraction. That is not going to be your wife. That is not going to be your husband. The person that is going to inherit that rightful position is being prepared. And you see this all the time because there are those that are, like I said, are going to go in one ear and out the other. We're going to learn this lesson. It's called regret. Because everything that was hidden, which it is not, will be revealed, placed right in front of you for accountability. And there are countless people that will not look at that truth, but know within themselves that someone else is living their lives. Who am I talking to? You don't believe me? Ask your loved one. Oh, I know I struck someone's nerve. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like the life has been sucked out of them, and you don't understand. It's like they just can't get back in sync. There's something, or was it someone? And they have allowed themselves to more or less settle. Why are you settling? But this is not a call to be arrogant. This is not a call to be cunning. No. Because guess what? Who benefits on this? The beast, Satan, the devil, whatever you want to call him. The lion in the brush. He loves the fact that you won't invest in you. You know why? Because the moment you took your first breath, you already knew your life. And was very intricate in putting distractions. Every time that part of your growth was starting to, like remember, like I put the flower, the plant, every time that root started to sprout, there was a problem. There was a problem there. And that was, so you won't grow. So you stay the same. So you stay stagnant. So there is no progression. So does it surprise you that them days feel like they're gray? Does it surprise you that there's a mocking in society? Why do you think they put the movie out, 50 Shades of Grey? The aspect was based off of sexuality and mentality through manipulation and power. But the gray was your state of mind. The gray represented choice for what was right compared to what was wrong, and trying to confuse you. Queen, you know I love you, but you guys are dying at alarming rates. Even on a social standpoint, they even put videos out there saying you guys are the number one candidates for death before your time. Strokes and heart disease. But they never said anything about your mind. There's nothing more sad to see a woman without her smile. But it happens all the time. And life goes on. But if you're not living your life, is it? Now, let me turn the page on something because y'all might not understand this. Millennials, if you're not, you need to stop playing with the devil. You got a lot right now. There's a undertone in our youth that they are romanticizing the occult, and they're finding it to be titillating and stimulating, but playing with knowledge they know nothing about. And you see it in our youth. You see it in their apparel. Oh, everybody's wearing black and red these days. Well, truth be told, they've been wearing those colors for a long, long time. But they know not what they do. And as long as you turn around, here's the irony of this. How is it that you have people that will gravitate to the occult, and let's call it what it is, they're playing with the devil, but yet won't acknowledge that God exists? Huh? How's that? You ask your typical atheist that what really just basically is somebody that wants to look at life through a scientific point of view, but yet won't acknowledge the fact that there had to be something greater to create it all. But yet you don't believe. I'll do one better. If there was no higher power, how could you understand emotion? So while they're glamorizing the occult, millennials, you better listen up. Because I actually believe, and this is my own opinion, as it's been echoed through the ethers about the last days and those who will take the mark, I don't really think it's going to be a literal mark. I believe it's going to be a state of mind because it's more influential that way. Just my perspective. I don't think there's going to be a line of people, hey, I'm ready to go get that RFID chip, or I'm going to get that brand. No, most people that got the biggest bravado out there, they act the tough, like they got ice in the veins, or some of those are some of the biggest frauds out there. You see that going on now. I had a conversation with one of my colleagues yesterday at work. So, I never imagined that now you would have so many wannabe patriots out here. And he said, I don't understand what you're talking about. And what caught my eye was this. You may have seen this too. They're running a commercial now. Someone has a stuffed animal with the comb over. And in the back of that teddy bear is a flag. Now you can do one-on-one and know what I'm talking about. But it's an actual commercial, and they're actually selling this for the gullible. Because you have a lot of wannabe people out here. You got a lot of bandwagon people out here. And there's somebody who said, well, you know what? This is also an emotional trigger, so we can make money off of this. We sure can. And they're going to gobble it all up. It's the same tactic. It's the same business strategy. Every time your favorite brand comes out with a new item, it's the same tactic, same brand. You got to have it, right? And the people that make it says, I know, because I'm going to get you. The point I'm trying to make is this, family. I echoed this almost a year and a half ago. Millennials, please listen up. If you do not see the importance of this, forget about this. Forget about it. Because you're going to be the future patients 20 years from now. Do not get mad the moment when your sacred body says, I've had enough. Because guess what? It doesn't matter how much money you got in the bank and you decide to go to that surgeon and say, I want to look just like this in the magazine cover. That surgeon can't trump your DNA. Your DNA code is perfect because it was for you. Did you hear me? Are you listening? So if you don't mind, it don't matter. You may have heard people say, get your mind right. Get your mind right. And you got some people just, they don't care. But the effect is this. You're out and about minding your business. You see that person walking around, talking to themselves, sitting on that park bench, just sitting out there on that highway. No matter what you're focused on, it crosses your mind on how they got out there. What made them decide to be right there at that moment? First of all, that person got demons all in them. And that they're at the point that the person that they once was is now who they are now. That is the shell. But I guarantee you, love is nowhere there. And guess what? Some of y'all, that's going to be your future if you don't turn around, if you don't stop now. I mean, the choice is yours. Don't sit up here and front and say, well, Gerald, I've got it all together. But in the backside of your mind, you worrying about Chauncey. You worrying about, or you remembering what Daryl did to you. The blessing is you ain't with Daryl. The example is what you came through. There was still wisdom from that, even in disappointment. But see, look, You can't tell me God ain't real. You can't tell me that. And I wish I had somebody when I was in my when I was 20. Say, hey, look here, brother. You need to do this, 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 and this. And actually give a damn about my future. And see, that's the byproduct of our society today, because you got a lot of men that don't know how to be men. And I know, Queens, I know you're like, well, Gerald, I tried to do the best I could. When are you gonna take that selfishness out? When you gonna, how long are you gonna hold on to that lie? You know, as long as you hold on to that lie, the reality will be played out in your children. As long as you don't give a damn about getting you right, they're not going to see the importance of living right. I mean, let's call a spade on this one. From a literal sense, single moms, single dads, you do understand at the least, your children are fragments of your spirit. They are the extensions of you. So whatever you're not doing, guess what? You're leaving a door for them to be influenced. You got no reason to complain, dog. You got none. So while you got some people that are finding admiration because they say, well, I got 5 kids, Gerald. It matters not if you can't take care of one. But if you ain't taking care of you, guess what? You ain't taking care of them. So what's stopping you? You need to have the same energy than you do with the logo you looking for or you wear with your kids. Because your worst nightmare will be this. Y'all ain't here. And you're going to be feeling a certain damn way. Because you know the truth is, you can't be with your kids 24 hours a day. And the same thing that you were doing, they're going to do to them. Everything. Put them shoes on. How's it feel now? That's the reality. But see, I ain't got to tell you this because you live in your life. The question should be asked is this. Are you happy? It's okay. You can tell yourself that. Because if you're waiting for validation and acceptance in your environment, you'll never find it. You don't believe me? Look at your financial status now. How's your finances these days? Or has it been an ongoing struggle? It's going to stay that way until you decide to put you first. And oh yes, let's put this out here so that somebody understands this. Because see, right now, I know there's a bunch of you that know this. You know that you assume your strength is in your sexuality. Oh yeah, you know how to make it tap out, huh? You like that? Get off on that, huh? You know you're robbing yourself of every time that you do that. You're putting one more step away from the person that was intended to be in your life. Let me throw the disclaimer out there because I got to reach the intended heart and intended mind. That's right, King. As long as you out there skeeting it up, you are spilling your sacred seed. You know who benefits from that? Jezebel spirit. You know what else happens? You invite more demons to come into your threshold, because every time that you intertwine with someone, you intertwine by spirit first. And guess what? You see this all the time. One is the dominant, one is the weaker vessel, and the weaker vessel will take on the traits of the strong. That's what possession is all about. You see, they start to act, talk, even dress like the influence that they have. Why? Spiritual. Only to leave you picking up the pieces. Only leaving you with the scar tissue. Yeah, Gerald, but I ain't never had nobody make me feel like that. Imagine what it feel like when you're loved. So why are you treating your life like this? Your life is like a candle. It should be up here. And all the things that you shouldn't do, things you've been exposed to, is robbing you of your life. Why won't you take stock of that? It shouldn't be, oh, because I got a bump, now I need to get serious. Or, oh, why do I smell funny down there? I need to get serious. Or, oh, where's my belongings? Because I didn't know him. He just stole my stuff. Why does it take all that? If you don't mind, it don't matter. You think I don't? You think I don't understand that all you want is what you've always wanted from a little child? You want to feel safe. You want to feel nurtured. You want to be inspired. You want to grow. You think that doesn't change? You think that template just it changes because you get older physically? Huh? You think that? No. That template is the same template you from day one. And here's the biggest conception that's going on right now. I hear this all the time. First of all, thank you to those people that you reach out to me. You ask me questions. And do you not get truth back? I don't know you from a can of paint. But I know that you deserve to be loved. You deserve to be happy. You deserve for your dreams to be a reality. But I also know that we have to put in our own work. You don't need permission to grow. From who? Oh, I tell you, person in the mirror looking back. That's the only person that matters. But don't misconstrue that as me saying, be selfish, be arrogant. You do understand every time you choose to be selfish, that happens back to you. Every time you want to be disrespectful, that happens back to you. Every time you choose not to speak your truth, which means every time when you choose not. So what I'm saying, when you don't speak your truth, then you're lying. You're living a lie. So how can you find peace of mind or emotional safety if you're not living your life? You can't find emotional safety getting high. You know why most people get high? Because they're running from the truth. So they have to alter their reality so it fits. But guess what? Pain is the greatest means of sobriety. It snaps you back into perspective. That's a blessing. That's also God's way of saying, listen, I have something better, but I am not going to allow you to squander it. Think about the children of Israel that went around the mountain. Do you think their pride didn't finally break? Do you think that their fear did not crumble? Do you not think that their ego was silenced? It took a long time for them to come to that rationale. It's because they finally decided to receive themselves. So while you turn around, going out into the wilderness, your world, just know, as long as you disrespect yourself first, your validation will be the same. Come on now. Come on now. Please, let me explain this to you. You are God's greatest creation. You are fragile. You are so fragile. But if you're breaking your own stems off, pulling out your own roots, why do you think that you're going to flourish? Why? Kings, you can't call yourself a king until you decide to place God first. He is first. He was first, and then there was you. The devil won't tell you that. The devil will say, do what the hell you want to do. Go right ahead. You want to screw 12 people this week? Go right ahead. So when that HIV comes and eats your body up, that brings you one more closer to me. Look, maybe y'all don't see this, but millennials, you guys are dropping like flies. And the number one culprit of that is your insecurity. You don't believe me? Look at the statistics in your age group, and you'll see the truth. I remember there was a time, family, I said I was not going to run my mouth, but I'm trying to reach somebody. There's an older woman, there's a younger man. This older woman been playing a game for over 20 years. And the last time that you tried that, it almost cost you something, didn't it? Cost you something grave. And now you sitting over here licking your wounds, mad at the world, but you're not mad at the person looking back in the mirror. Mary, why do you weep so? Why won't you love yourself? Why? Because it'll go against all the ideology that has consumed you. Hmm? The fantasies, distractions. And I get it, because that's all you know. You've basically been in a survivalist mentality, but very nomadic. I'll get them before they get me, on one hand. And then on the other, I'm going to use what I got to get what I want. You probably heard your auntie or your grandma tell you that. But don't you realize that is speaking abomination over your life? Because they're basically telling you, don't use that beautiful mind. Don't be yourself. Just be another person that puts their physical over their spiritual. Because wherever the mind goes, the body flows. So why are you tripping over? Because now they droop. And now you're thinking, well, I'm gonna borrow time because I don't look like how I used to look in the 20s. You know, I could stop traffic in the 20s. You know, I gotta be more witty now because, these young girls, the people in my peer group, they ain't checking for me now. You ain't supposed to have been checked for. You should have been preparing. That's why I tell you, Queen, stop looking for your man. If he does not have a relationship with God, he will never have a relationship with himself. And he will not know where he's going. Doesn't matter what wolf tickets he's trying to sell you. It does not matter what's found in his pocket. It does not matter what's swinging between his legs. It doesn't matter. Because the truth of the matter is, as long as he doesn't have a relationship with himself, he will never see the value of himself. Hey, let alone that last name. But definitely will not have a relationship with you. And let me throw this out here real quick because I'm about to wrap this up real quick, real short. I really appreciate everybody's support on this channel, but I also mentioned that I want to focus on my other channel. It's called Journey of a Man. If you have already subscribed, thank you, because we're about to kick into the physical part of it. And I've already told you what you already know. And let me explain this, and I'm gonna step away real quick for about a minute. You can't heal a broken heart between your legs. That's for somebody. I don't care if she has a rhythm like a wash machine. It will not heal your self-esteem. It'll only rob you. That's what soul ties come from. Don't you understand that? First is the consumption of the spirit. Second is the consumption of the flesh. Maybe that's why you feel so tired during the week. You don't understand. Well, I don't understand. Somebody's feeding off of your soul. And maybe that's the reason why you can't get them pregnant too. That's for somebody. Because you've been trying to get them pregnant for a long time. And I must be sterile. No, that's God saying, no, this person will not bear your child. So stop trying. Stop. That is, listen, you got to be spiritual before you can be fertile. You do understand that, right? You thought that was coincidental that you having all these miscarriages? Yeah, let's go there. The soul is like the roots. What is it being fed? The environment is the feed. So while you're over there fiending for a blunt, fiending, you're tainting yourself. You're tainting yourself. Now, I don't expect this video to get views. I know that because it's too much truth. But ask yourself this: how much truth do you need when you are looking at them scars on your body? How much proof do you need when you've got them flashbacks in your mind of days gone by and what you've seen and what you felt? You still don't see how fragile your life is. Still don't see it. But if you're looking for validation on what's put out there on the daily propaganda, if you don't mind, it don't matter. So while you're seeing all this regurgitation of fear, because you got a lot of people that want to play the race card now and there. And here's the funny thing about it. While people are playing the race card, they fail to realize there's only one race. That's the human race. There's only one. And guess what? There are people look just like you to feel the same way. But they won't stand on what they believe in. So what you standing on? You standing on property that ain't yours? You standing on a color that you don't have a patent on? What you represent? You know, every time you do that, they make money off of your ignorance. You do understand that, right? That you ain't focusing on you. It's no different than someone throwing seed out to the pigeons. They ain't gotta justify how it came about. Even though you're gonna eat it up. They already know. So millennials, does it surprise you why there's so many guns out there on the street nowadays? Does it? Do you not see the correlation in that? Because you have a lot of people that want you to kill yourself. And as long as you have a constant reminder, because remember, power is found in the word. The word is the frequency. The body responds to two frequencies: love, hate. You just got to decide on what you're going to stand on. And when you have the courage to claim it, maybe you'll also realize you have an opportunity to change it. Remember, you're loved. God loves you more than you'll ever know. And yes, There are people that have come into your life that you don't have access to. If their hearts are pure, guess what? They're hoping that you'll make it through whatever you're going through. And if it's divinely meant, you will see them again. Well, listen, you're gonna see them again anyway. Let's make this clear. You're gonna see every one of those people that had an impact in your life. These were people were nothing but guides to the momentum of the energy that was going that you embody, negatively or positively. But that doesn't mean you're supposed to sit there pining. Oh, when am I going to see Johnny again? I was wrong. Until you decide to love you and make the changes needed to grow, you'll never see Johnny again. You won't. But just know this. God has someone better that will see the value of what you are. Mind, body, and soul. And yes, Queens, let me stop and I'm going to shut up. Stop looking for your man. I keep telling you that because you're not going to find your father. And 85% of you won't admit that, but you want a father figure in your life because of the fact that you maybe never had a connection with your biological. But I'm going to tell you what, if you still have the opportunity to have access to your father, you better connect. You better connect. Because until you do, you won't understand you. You don't understand half of your mentality is from your mother and the other half is from your father. Maybe that's why some of those habits and desires that you have, you don't understand where they came from. It's from your dad. It's from your daddy. So stop looking for Jody to be your dad. Because he's not. He will never be able to do that. But guess what? You know what Jody won't be able to do? Jody will not possess the key that unlocks the other side of your life because Jody doesn't even know what's required to protect your heart because he doesn't see the value in his. You need to stop playing. Time to grow up. Because until you do, you will see the constant reminder at 6 o'clock, at 11 o'clock, in a town near you, in a city near you, in a state near you, of what not to do. Because there'll be someone like you on the news. There may be someone that you know that knows somebody ain't coming home. Love yourself. You're worth it. So, like I said, I'm going to start putting effort and energy in the Journey of a Man channel. If you haven't found it, it's there. You'll see me up there, and I'm about to actually kick it in gear in regards to health and fitness, as well as some of y'all was like, well, you talk about, can you cook? You damn right I can cook. I can cook my ass off. Yeah, I ain't talking about top ramen. I'm talking cook. Yes, I can. But when it comes to your body, what you put in has an effect here. And I really want to focus on that. I mean, I'm not getting any younger. I mean, I'm 48 years old. Yeah, I know. This is God. Don't believe me? Look back at my very first video. Just look at the thumbnail. and you will see images of me and how I've grown and how I've evolved. And God's not done, just as he's not done with you. So stop worrying about the people in the cheap seats. Their position is not going to change until they decide to change it. But trust when I tell you this, they're watching what you do. Mm-hmm. That's what opportunists do. But an opportunist does not need your help to expose them. What is required that you have the courage to see it as it's revealed. God is praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. Someone asked me about, did I have a problem with my videos being shared? I do not. I don't. If it can help you grow, grow, grow. Take that one step closer to the real you. Because guess what? That person is beautiful. Be blessed, family.